Hello, my name is Ron Vroman. I'm with the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. It's the 17th of January. Some really interesting stuff's coming up. This evening, we're going to be discussing flags, and we have Mike School with us. Mike, would you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Michael Charles School. I live in Nevada County, California, and I'm the Secretary of the Fourth Continental Congress.
All right. And William?
Yeah, I'm William Appel. I'm here in the Portland area. I'm part of the Statewide Jural Assembly.
And this evening, we don't have Charlie, so you'll have to listen to me for a short prayer. And we thank our Creator for all that we have and ask for help in obtaining what we need. Amen.
Amen.
So, Mike, would you tell us about the flag and about the Fourth Continental Congress and a little bit about how they mix together and throw in a little bit about the militia too, if you will?
Okay. Dang it. If, the easiest way to explain that, well, we've been under the Admiralty foreign occupation since 1861, and people aren't aware of it that we have two sets of flags, the war flag and the peace flag. So the purpose of what we've been doing through the Fourth Continental Congress is putting awareness onto the difference in the flags, because one represents a de facto corporate occupation and the other one represents a de jure Republican government of and for the people. Um, and we have a manual that we've created for it. And I was trying to exit this full screen. It's if you go to uscivilflags.info, the very first tab is the history of the U.S. civil flag, and if you click that, the very top link is to the U.S. civil flag manual, and that right there breaks down what the problems are with the country, why we're focusing on the civil flag specifically instead of just the stars and stripes, and also brings in the state assemblies as part of the overall project.
Okay, maybe William can drop the website address in here somewhere, and they can see that. I've been there and I've seen the manual.
I put a link to it in our chat on here.
Yes. So where can you buy one of these flags?
You'd have to go to Amazon or uscivilflags.org. I don't sell any of the flags or have any affiliate accounts with anybody that supplies them.
Well, let's stay away from Amazon.
From what I understand, in the past, before mass production, people would actually make their own flags.
They could, but I don't have the capability or time to do that.
Doesn't Anna sell them too?
I don't know. I don't follow anything she does.
Okay.
Do you?
I pay attention to uh, some of what she does. Um, I think she has a lot of information. I don't trust her because she lies, and I can't tell all the time which is the truth and which is the lie. So, but it's just like the NLA. The NLA has some really great information, but then the guy running it is a bar attorney. So there you go.
The the best information I took away from National Liberty Alliance was proof of. They sent out a manual about the sheriffs a couple years back, and in it was some information on proof of claim, and that was really interesting for me for court because we're not in lawful courts of record, and the people don't realize that. And part of how you can tell is that uh, nobody's requesting proof of claim as part of their case.
What does proof of claim mean to you?
Well, when an officer like writes a report or takes somebody into custody or presses charges, they're supposed to provide an affidavit attached to IRS Form 4490, and that's the complete proof of claim. And that brings in the bid bond, the performance bond, the payment bond, and the CUSIP numbers into the court case for payment.
All right. If you have an attorney, I think the attorney will forego that automatically. Just like when you go to court and you have an attorney, the attorney immediately upon entering the court provides jurisdiction to the judge, whoever it happens to be, and gives up your right to solicit the judge for proof of jurisdiction filed into the court in writing. Sounds like a similar scam.
What I found regarding the attorneys and representation is if they don't file a notice of appearance at counsel, you need to hold them to the fire and make them do that because that's part of the court procedure, but it also puts the liability on the attorney for you.
Explain a little more on that one, would you?
Well, like if you're incarcerated, it's all about the body and the surety under your person. But so if you have a notice of appearance at counsel, he has appeared in your stead. So he's the one that legally is required to go to jail in place of you.
If he doesn't file his form.
Well, you have to know about the form to request it because all the officers of the court are working together as unregistered foreign agents. So we have to overcome that process, and that's the other reason why we need to define what is de jure and what is de facto because nobody knows the difference. So they're mixing the two daily, and nobody really realizes what's going on because of it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Another thing that they do is in Oregon and in Illinois, the court is the bail bond instead of the bail bond industry like you have in California. The court takes it over.
That would probably be where the CUSIP numbers come into play, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about flags. In the courtroom, we see that those flags have a yellow tassel. Is that what they call it, or a
Fringe.
fringe?
In the courtroom,
No,
you're
so
seeing
that
gold
kind
fringe.
of explains what's going on there.
Yeah, the law of the flag governs the contract. So when you go into court, I use notarized documents. I've alternated between notarized documents and witnesses, but the point of it is to introduce affidavits into the court cases that have already matured. So when you go into court, there's a okay. The gold fringe flags mean that you're in the ship of the admiralty and you don't have any rights. So you've already been prejudged guilty, and when you go in with an attorney, that's why they have jurisdiction over you because they're using presumption against you. So if you rebut the presumption and you notify them through judicial notice and your paperwork that you are a civilian on the land, it's a different jurisdiction. So you can bring your flag into court too. And what I was thinking of doing if they try to drag me into court again is to bring my flag with me and then ask the court to recognize my standing, if they will recognize my standing while granting permission to cross the bar under the law of the flag.
Interesting.
Marple wouldn't cross the bar in any case.
I've stayed outside the bar and handled matters too, but I haven't really seen a difference in the outcome because the court does what they want anyways.
Yeah, that court does. We're maybe getting someplace on Oregon with our civilian court. We're hammering them, and we'll see what happens real soon.
So maybe then this gold fringe flag is really a pirate flag.
It is.
So it's a vessel on the land with a pirate flag because they don't recognize our law, the Constitution of the states or each state.
They don't recognize individual rights or private rights through the admiralty because the admiralty is just a foreign occupation. They place nations into a bankruptcy status where they become a receivership, and the admiralty is the receiver. That's why they occupy public offices with attorneys, because you have to be a bar attorney to be a court-appointed receiver in bankruptcy.
Excellent information, Mike.
Thank you.
All right, I've done some research and found that up until maybe the 40s, most of the states would fly their flags higher than all the United States flag, and then there was like some point where they kind of flipped over the other side where it really had been obviously taken over at that point.
The correct order of the flags is the stars and stripes should always be higher than the state flags, as we're already a union of states. But the civil flag should fly higher than the stars and stripes because civilian authority is always higher than the military, and the admiralty is a military.
Yeah, but most people don't even know about this flag. I remember some research seeing the civil flag in like 1799 or something, a reference to that, but never really seen anywhere else I could find a civil flag.
The last time it was publicly displayed was at the end of the First World War, and then it was taken out of use. And then after 1933, when they abrogated the gold standard, you never really saw any references to the flag. And then they added Title 4 USC 101 to the U.S. codes that added the flag, the dimensions, and everything related to it, and placed well, get long-winded here, but anyways, the flag manual was submitted to Congress for recognition in the Library of Congress, and they refused to acknowledge it. So that shows you where we're at.
When did that happen?
About a year ago, maybe a year and a half. The former Sergeant at Arms of the Fourth Continental Congress sent it in at my request. He's the one that wrote the manual, so I wanted him to get the credit and recognition in the Library of Congress for his contribution.
And they refused to accept it.
Yes. I wanted to have an ISBN number attached to it and have it added to the Library of Congress, because then anybody could obtain a certified original copy of it, and then shows right there's its place in history.
Good move. Sorry it didn't work.
Well, it's not over yet.
Yeah, it isn't. There's a lot of stuff going on that's not going to be over until the 20th or 21st.
So, with truly in a court of record, in the civilian court of record, I feel that the civilian peace flag should be displayed on the wall of the court to oversee the proceedings, to show the civilian nature of it.
I agree. I think we have the only civilian court in the 50 states myself. Nobody else has come up with one. But when our civilian court holds court, I think we'll have ourselves a vertical striped flag.
So does that mean that as this movement progresses, that your court would be the equivalent of the Supreme Court on the land, or the court of original jurisdiction?
Well, it's a good question. I've already notified DOJ, FBI, State Attorney General, and a whole bunch of other people that we are the Article 3, one Supreme Court with a small o, a small s, and a capital C, just like it says in the Constitution, claiming original jurisdiction, and that court is found in Amendment 7. And nobody has rebutted that.
That's awesome.
So that's where we're going. Oh my God, dead airspace. People are thinking.
You wanted me to talk about the militia too. Is that what you said earlier?
Yes, I'd appreciate that.
If you go to uscivilflags.info, there's a tab for militia on there, And that's got a lot of information that can answer everybody's questions right there, because the biggest thing is creating one training system that's national, so we're not reinventing the wheel here. Because the reason the Allies won World War II is that they mass produced one thing, while the Germans, produced 20 different things. And so the spare parts caught up with them. But anyways, that's the idea here, is we created the Continental Militia Standards to streamline the training process and integration. We've also adopted a numerical system for each state that's being broken down to each county right now, through the field force system. So like California, for example, is the 31st Field Force, and Nevada County here is the 57th Battalion of the 31st Field Force. So that's what we're working on now, because there's 3,142 counties, is to create a field force designation for each one as a battalion.
That's a big job, very big job. Yeah, really.
But we're making progress, and the flag that's displayed on militia, on Continental Militia Commands, is the civil peace flag.
How are the other states overcoming the problem that I was told about on Oregon, that the de facto, the incorporated governance in Salem has passed laws making the militia paramilitary and therefore illegal, and then passing other laws that they couldn't train more than two people at a time, and putting the militia people into a position of being illegal or outlaw, and so placing them in a really uncomfortable position. And then I found out that 6 people had been arrested. Then they dropped the charges, but they put them on probation. So if they do anything else, then they're in trouble. Uh, we wrote a paper and declared that we were the Second Amendment well regulated militia, and they had 21 days to rebut that. It's gone 9 days now, and so far, no rebuttal. At the end of that time, we will, the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly, have notified everybody without rebuttal that the Second Amendment well regulated militia is on the land of Oregon, and from there on, we're out of their jurisdiction and there's no way for them to touch us.
We haven't advanced to that. California hasn't advanced to that state yet, but really what it's about is just beginning. Well, the whole idea with the Fourth Continental Congress was to develop training systems and certification processes, because the militia was basically abandoned after the Civil War, and there's still a few commands out there, such as the 20th Maine, and that's one of the affiliated commands that joined about 6 weeks ago. And they wanted that field force designation to recognize their contribution to the Battle of Gettysburg during the Civil War. So there's a lot of history here, and as this project grows, it's like anything else. It's like the peace officer safety training. That's why we've created a state commander's course and a certificate of achievement and an oath of office for it. So if there's certification, there's credibility, and then you can get reliability. And we have to recreate the militia, so it's networked through all 50 states, but it can't be dissolved again like it was during the Civil War. And that's the other reason why we're using the civil peace flag as our banner, is to put attention directly on Executive Order 100, which implemented the Lieber Code under the laws of war. And it's never been repealed, which is a violation of Article 4, Section 4, because the Constitution is still suspended.
Well, we eliminated the Lieber Code on Oregon by creating our civilian court, which implemented ex parte Milligan. So I'm not sure anybody else has done it, but there's no martial law in Oregon.
Nobody else has done it yet, but like you said, you're the only one that's done the court of record on the land.
Boy, I hope everybody else jumps on.
It's just a matter of time. There's a group of about 70 people that run different networks, and they're asking for templates, and I've been referring them to the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly.
Good. So far, I haven't gotten any email or any feedback from William on that. Looking
Heard it.
forward to it.
This is the time, right? It's the season to start this up for sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Gonna go through a great change here for sure. It's obvious.
Well, I'm going to look forward to finding a peace flag. First time I heard about it was when Arnie Rosner had it on his website. Then I put it on my website for a while, and then moved on to what I have now.
Yeah, you've seen already that we put it on the Facebook page.
Yep.
No, we didn't start yet. We have the 33rd state flag on there right now. So we should probably generate a 33rd civilian flag.
Good idea.
And can we talk about that real quick about why we believe there's only 33 states?
Sure, go ahead.
Well, you're the one with that big theory, sure.
Oh, come on.
Well, you know all the little intricacies of it. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I agree with you. You know, unless somebody comes forward with some true documents. When the Civil War happened, there wasn't a full Congress to make a decision on anything else, right?
And there hasn't been since.
Anything enacted after 1861, when Executive Order 100 was implemented, is null and void for fraud.
Yes. It's color of law. They've been acting color of law since 1861 and Oregon since 1910. We've got proof of that and they've acquiesced to it. So as soon as we have, oh, and by the way, we reached our goal for our grand jury pool. So we have a large enough pool of people signed up for the grand jury that we are now in the process of jury selection. And we're looking forward to increasing the jury pools to 45 on each one of the counties so that we can have a county grand jury. That's going to
That's
be
awesome.
start. Well, yeah, thank you. That's going to be starting soon. So tell me again where I can buy that flag. You don't sell them, but you know where to buy them.
My website is uscivilflags.info, but there's a guy named Kevin that runs uscivilflags.org, and he's got all the flags on there if you don't want to go through Amazon or eBay.
Okay. U.S.
uscivilflags.org is where you can purchase civil flags.
Okay, will do. When do you expect your group of militias to be increasing to the 70 you were talking about?
70, what do you mean?
Well, you mentioned the number 70 that had been at the Fourth Continental Congress. Did I miss?
Oh, no, there's a group of people that are there's a group of about 70 people right now that are working on establishing state assemblies across the country with a like a national coordination group through the Fourth Continental Congress to network everything.
Will it be possible for Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly to get any information in front of that group soon?
Yes.
Can I do that through you?
Yeah.
All right. Do you have anything you'd like to give us so that we can put it on the screen about the Congress and the militia and what you've got going on so people can get back in touch with you?
Everything that's out there. I have two websites and a social media chat site that I had built to begin networking the state assemblies and all these projects and coordinate them away from Facebook. And the name of that chat's it's a free social media chat site. There's no censorship. It's called freeterran.com, and you can set up pages or groups, your profile. It's pretty much like AOL on Facebook. And then if you go to uscivilflags.info, you can find everything on there: the state militia commands, private attorney general information, the flags manual, continental militia standards, and there's links from all the websites to each other. And on the militia tab, you can also find the affiliated commands tab, and you can contact any one of those to find out information about the other militias that are associated, because not all of them are on the internet yet, such as Oregon. So even though you have Oregon militia attached to the Oregon Jural Assembly now, they're still not listed on the website.
Okay. Well, I think we're about ready to wrap it up for this evening. We'd like to have you come back again, Mike. Do you think you have some time coming up in the future?
Yes.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. That's about
All right,
it for
so we'd
me.
like everybody to like us on YouTube and go to our website for updates to where we'll be. I believe we'll be in Sandy tomorrow, the 18th. Of course, the showing will be a week from now. But yeah, please like us and subscribe so that we can get some perks on YouTube for that. Of course, we don't like YouTube very much, but we'll use that until we can't.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Yep.
guys.